going to show you just how simple it is to construct a dispute letter to the credit bureaus for removing negative items from your credit report. Now, as simple as it sounds, there's very, very specific things that you need to have in your dispute letter, and it needs to be written a certain way so that you can get your results. Now, this is all part of the Bulletproof Dispute Letter series, and you can find that playlist linked down in the description. So let's get right to this. Obviously, there's very specific information that you need on your letter, right? We need our name, our address. We also need our social and our date of birth. Now, as far as the social goes, make sure that you're putting the full and complete social security number, right? You're not putting XXX-XX-1234. We're only doing that when we write the creditor or the collector, okay? Moving on. The date, this is going to be today's date, okay? I don't care what you got to say about backdating letters, it doesn't work, okay? So instead of taking all these shortcuts that are going to do nothing other than spin you in circles and not get results, why don't you actually write a factual dispute letter and get those results? Get your collections, your charge-offs, your repossessions, your foreclosures, your bankruptcies, your judgments, your late payments removed from your credit report, instead of looking for shortcuts like disputing online, using things like backdating, doing templates, doing identity theft. Those things don't work. But guess what does? Factual based disputes. Want to know why? Because we use the facts taken directly from the credit report. Like when I say down here that I paid on time on this date that is listed as late, January 2020. Okay. So again, we're using today's date. All right. I have a video that I'm going to link down in the description that explains why we do not backdate, but the explanation is very, very simple. The date that your letter gets opened by a machine and fed into the OCR scanner is the date when your investigation begins. So it doesn't matter what this date says right here. Okay. It's kind of worthless to even be there. It's going to be the date that it goes in there. Okay. So moving on, you need to have the bureau. And especially if you're a company, you need to know which bureau you are sending out, on the front of the envelope for this client. Okay. Now this is kind of like a coding reference here, but this is the reason for writing, and these are your disputed accounts down here. Okay. So now we're talking about the structure. There's a very specific structure that you want to use. Now I could have very simply, for a factual letter, just taken this very first sentence and that would have been it. Could have ended it literally right here. So this is my entire first paragraph. I don't believe that there's been an actual investigation on these accounts and you failed to furnish any documentation that proves, that's a typo, that they are reported correctly. Now, the rest of it says, because of this, I need for you to perform an independent investigation and go beyond the original source of information to ensure the accuracy of my accounts. Now, pausing right there, you may be wondering, Kristen, why is this first paragraph so long? Well, this is normally a letter that you are going to send after they've come back and said that the account or accounts are verified and, that's the end of the road. Tough cookies, move on with your life. Well, they can't just do that, okay? They have to be able to prove that their claim is correct, and obviously they're never going to do that. So what I want is to use Cushman versus TransUnion from 1997 against them without having to say pursuant to blah, 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 and Cushman versus TransUnion where the court said blah, blah, blah. You see, because it's true, the courts, and I am going to post a picture of this up here, the courts said, the congressional opinion said that the bureaus have to go beyond the original source of information, meaning the data furnisher, to ascertain that the accounts are reported accurately. However, I don't want to put that in my factual letter. However, I do want to say that I want an independent investigation, and that's why it's listed this way. So I would also like to see all the documentation that was used in the previous investigation, as well as the documentation that you are required to have on file prior to the reporting of this account to ensure accuracy. Now, in case you didn't know, that's true. The bureaus are actually required to have the documentation that proves accuracy prior to even posting the account on your credit report. And obviously, that's never going to happen. They don't get documentation. You know what they get? They get a spreadsheet. Normally, it is submitted digitally. They get a spreadsheet, right, with all the accounts and all the creditors and all the account numbers and blah, 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 consumer information, and that's it. That's what they get. And then they are paid to report this information and it goes onto your credit report. That is how it works. They don't do any sort of investigation or anything with documentation or any questions are even asked until you say, hey, what the heck is this on my credit report? So the original data furnisher or the data furnisher, the creditor, the collector, whatever, they could be lying about what goes on your credit report. Should it even belong in there? You never know until there's an investigation. So they are supposed to have this information on file prior to the reporting of this account, okay? Now, you can take this or leave this. It doesn't matter. I am getting really frustrated because you keep telling me that I'm wrong when I'm sending you the info taken directly from my credit report, including the actual credit report pages to prove that they are not reporting accurately. This is exactly why, this is exactly what you are reporting, and I'm pointing out the errors. So how am I wrong when it's what you're showing me? Delete the following from my credit report. And this is your disputed account section. All right, we have our creditor name, our account number, and then we're using the AJERO formula, okay? Action, justifier, element, reason, and outcome. All right, delete this account for inaccuracy because, so delete is the action, because is the justifier, and it gives the actual reason. You verified as accurate and did not change the date last reported. So the date last reported is the element, and the reason is they didn't change it even though they verified it as accurate, okay? So this is a formula, as I've been telling you, as I've been showing you, as I've been proving to you, that works consistently, okay? 100% of 100% of things don't work 100% of the time, and anyone that tells you otherwise is 300% BS. But with factual-based disputes, you want to have a very specific structure to use to get those results. And for me, at least for me, with my clients, with the results that I've gotten, it is the AJERO formula. And I can use it and plug in any creditor, any account to get any sort of result, okay? Second account, American Express, 34999. I paid on time, January 2020. Here's the fact from the credit report. And you report me as 30 days late. While the other bureau, so if this was a letter to Equifax, this other bureau would be Experian or TransUnion, reports me paid on time. So what that means is we have a 30-day late here, we have okay here, and then, whatever over here. Continuing to report this late payment without a bank statement to support your claim is false reporting. Now, why am I saying a bank statement? Is it my bank statement? No, it is the bank statement belonging to the data furnisher, who is Amex, to prove that I paid or didn't pay on time. Otherwise, it is false reporting and it's nothing but hearsay, okay? They're never going to give you their confidential information, so don't worry about that. But this is the magic behind removing late payments from your credit report, okay? Now, next one, I see this all the time. This is a collection. Original creditor, there's no creditor name, there's no collector name, there's no address, account number 00258. This collection needs to be removed for inability to verify. Just looking at it right off the bat, inability to verify because you reported no creditor name or address. Delete for a violation of section 623, which stipulates that there must be, if this account could possibly be inaccurate, there must be an address for disputing and a data furnisher name, okay? And this part's really, really simple. Your closing, your instructions are to send me a new report reflecting these changes to the above address, your name. Now, if this doesn't make sense, then I've posted another resource down in the description. But what's really great, at least I think so, is that I have an app that does all the heavy lifting for you. It is called Live Letter Automation App, and there's a personal version as well as a commercial version, and it does all the heavy lifting, okay? So if you want to check this out, head over to liveletter.ask-kristen.com. It has built-in letters, it has built-in automation. It literally, you can create a dispute letter in less than 5 seconds. It's actually less than 3 seconds. With one click, there's no learning curve because I built it on top of Google Sheets, and it's super affordable because it's only a one-time payment. So if you're having issues with figuring out how to do all of this stuff, or you don't know how to write a dispute letter, and you know that the longer you dispute, the harder it is to get your negative items removed, then head over again to liveletter.ask-kristen.com. Check out Live Letter, and I'm sure that you will find what you're looking for. Otherwise, you can schedule a call with me using the link at the top of the page. It's very, very simple, my740.com. See if I can do a credit sweep for you, and I will see if I can help. That's the whole purpose of doing the call, because you cannot just go to my website. I call that phishing. All those other companies out there where you can just go directly to their website and just sign up, how do they even know that they can help you? You can't take on everybody and you shouldn't. So anyways, if it's a come one, come all, then you should just turn around and leave, okay? So anyways, head over to my740.com to schedule a call with me to see if I could do the credit sweep for you, or to get free resources, head over to hub.my740.com and you will find a ton of awesome tutorials. I believe there's 16 modules now. It's 15 or 16. Or you can go over to vault.my740.com. So anyways, those are the resources. You'll find the links in the description. Today we were talking about the structure of a dispute letter. It's very simple. There's very specific things that need to go into it. And we also talked about the AJERO formula that I used in 2020 to remove over 20,000 deletions, and 2021 to remove over 23,000 deletions and corrections. And obviously these numbers just keep on growing because my system works, okay? And that's just as far as for me, it works. And if you go and check out my comments and my reviews and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna see that it works for other people as well. So if you want to give this a try, then check out all of the videos that I have on my channel. Go back and subscribe and check all of them out. There's like 600 of them, okay? So that is it for today. I'm gonna stop rambling. Make sure to like this video if you found it valuable. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and I will see you tomorrow.